employees in order to honor Juneteenth. This is one of our oldest nationally celebrated commemorations of the end of enslaved Black people here in the United States. And given our commitment to achieving racial equity and becoming the healthiest county in Wisconsin, we must recognize this important day in American history. And it is my hope that county employees can celebrate this rich history and culture of African American community, which is a day to also appreciate the long struggle for civil rights that Black people in America have faced for many centuries. And many of you may be aware as well, just a few hours ago, a coalition of county, city, and local community partners recently launched the We Care Crew, which is going to be focused on providing resources to communities of color that have been impacted by not only COVID-19, but also racism. And together, this group will be committed to engaging communities in public health education and providing resources, utilizing Milwaukee County parks as a temporary distribution site. And so these efforts will be focused at the following parks: McGovern, Moody, Sherman Park, Smith, Tiffin Tyler, and Washington parks, in addition to our community health centers, King and Kazi. And we may be adding more parks to the future. And the point of the We Care Crew is really to distribute face masks, meals, resource bags, education on public health, and provide access to certified credible messengers. All efforts will be incorporated in physical distancing, and participants will be provided with safe masks, because we know that this summer we need to provide safe and healthy recreational alternatives. And this is going to be key. And I just want to make sure that I say thank you to the Green Bay Packers for their $20,000 donation, which will be used to provide 2,500 resource bags to the community. And in these bags, there will be PPE, public health information, healthy snacks, and books for kids. And when we're talking about the parks, I also want to talk about two particular events that we have coming up. These are community bike drives that are going to be happening at both McGovern Park and Lincoln Park this Saturday, June 20th, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we're asking people in the community, if you have gently used bikes that could be donated, we will be accepting those bikes in the morning at both locations, and we will be distributing those gently used bikes to the community as well. And if you would like more information about that, you can definitely visit wecaremke.com. Also want to talk about Milwaukee County Zoo. This past weekend, we had an outdoor experience with limited capacity. And it was great to see so many people that was able to come out and participate and enjoy our zoo. And I also want to say thank you to those families for respecting the physical distancing requirements and following the guidelines posted throughout the zoo. It's really important that people understand that we want people to have fun this summer. But the only way to do that is to continue to practice physical distancing, wearing your mask. We want folks to know that the Milwaukee County Zoo is a perfect place to do that. And also remind folks that we recently announced $10 million of the CARES Act funding to provide some housing acquisition, eviction, prevention, and mortgage assistance to folks who are facing housing and financial instability. And so if folks are looking for programs that they can call and get some assistance to, please call Community Advocates Rental Housing Resource Center. The number there is 270-4646, or you can visit communityadvocates.net. And we highly encourage you to reach out and go after these resources right now, because they will go fast. We know that the amount of money that we put towards this particular initiative would only scratch the surface. And so please make sure that you're encouraging folks to apply if they need it. And then lastly, I want to talk about the importance of getting tested. We have seen a dramatic drop off in the number of people getting tested at the two National Guard sites at UMOS and Custer Stadium. And so we know that people are out protesting, enjoying the nice weather with their family and friends, are probably going back to work. But I want to remind folks that all of these types of gatherings lead to an increase of exposure and the potential to heighten the community spread for the community spread of this virus. And so it is important to understand that we have to do our due diligence. We're seeing across the country an increase in alarming rates. And we are not done with this virus, and we need to be cautious. So please continue to practice physical distancing, wear a mask whenever you can. This is extremely important because we have to continue to protect ourselves and our loved ones. So if you are feeling symptomatic, if you're not feeling well, do not wait to call your doctor to get tested. Call them right away, call your provider. And if you don't have a provider, please call 211 in order to find a testing site near you. So that's all that I have right at this time. So I will hand it over to Mayor Baird.
Thank you very much, County Executive Colley, and thank you all for joining us today. The City of Milwaukee, along with Milwaukee County, actually we've had the practice in place for some time now, also has a floating holiday for Juneteenth Day. And so we're pleased that the county is joining us this year for its employees. And I think we all recognize that given all of the racial turmoil and the cries for justice that we're seeing throughout the country at this time, that this Juneteenth Day will be a special day in our country. I raise that not only because of its significance, both its historic significance and its contemporary significance, but I raise that because it is also occurring, as we all well know, during the midst of this pandemic. And I anticipate that we will see a lot of people on the streets of the city of Milwaukee on Friday. I want to encourage, as I have many times before, I want to encourage individuals who are exercising their First Amendment rights and are fighting for justice, that they should also be mindful of the healthcare challenges that they might be creating for themselves and others. And for that reason, again, to the extent that I know it's a tough ask when there's hundreds, if not thousands of people around to maintain social distance. But as I said repeatedly, there are no exemptions that have been created for this pandemic. And so I am concerned. I am concerned about individuals contracting and spreading the disease in any large setting of people. So again, please maintain your social distance. Please wear a mask. And if you're feeling any symptoms whatsoever, please make sure that you take advantage of our many testing sites that we have throughout the city and the county, which is a segue to the testing sites that we have, the community testing sites that have been administered by the National Guard now for some time. Just an update on these numbers. UMOS has tested last week 636 individuals, Custer 254, for a weekly total of 890. Now that obviously is down significantly from what we have been seeing in prior weeks. The combined total is now 31,514. The National Guard, which has been very helpful in this regard, will continue to collect specimens. They will not, however, be operating July 2nd through the 5th in order to allow members to observe the holiday weekend with their families. But both National Guard testing sites will operate through Wednesday, July 1st, and then will return again on Monday, July 6th. Another very, very important action that the city has taken, and the city council this morning took significant action, deals with our Active Streets for Businesses program. As Commissioner Qualico explained, we remain in phase 3 of our Road to Recovery for the city of Milwaukee, which means that restaurants can have people basically 25% of their capacity. In order to give businesses an opportunity to safely expand their opportunities, we've created this no fee pilot program, allowing restaurants and bars to apply to expand their seating accommodations by using sidewalks, parking lanes, and travel lanes for outdoor dining while adhering to proper physical distancing. As I said, the program is free and to apply, and it's not limited to any specific portion of the city of Milwaukee. Any restaurant or bar citywide can apply for this program. There are some speed limitations, probably are the ones that are going to be most telling. That's primarily for businesses that are located on streets that have speed limits of 25 miles an hour or less. So if you're on a busy street, it's not conducive to having people in the street or on the sidewalk many times. But the program follows the Milwaukee Health Department's guidelines in moving Milwaukee forward. The application will go live tomorrow morning, June 17th at milwaukee.gov/DPW. The webpage will have guidelines for the program and clear step-by-step instructions with a link to apply for the permit via the City of Milwaukee's land management system software. The proposed dining area must, not surprisingly, comply with health requirements intended to slow or prevent the transmission of COVID-19. Tables and chairs must be removable and must not restrict the pedestrian flow in and out of a building. And of course, they must comply with all state and local ADA guidelines, including access ramps and furniture selection. DPW, the license office, will be reviewing this, and the turnaround will depend on how many applications are received initially, but we're hoping that we'll have a very, very quick turnaround on this. We're seeing this in a number of cities. We think that this is really a great, great tool for businesses throughout the city of Milwaukee. So we work very closely with the city attorney's office, the city clerk, the Milwaukee Police and Health Department to ensure that this program is safe. So I'm pleased the Common Council adopted it this morning. And again, we'll be ready for business tomorrow and for people to start applying for it. So again, this is something you might want to keep in mind as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it, I think, over to Dr. Weston, if I'm not mistaken, to give us the latest information. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon. As always, first to our numbers, we have 9,678 cases of COVID-19 in our community and 322 individuals who've died. We also have a new map tab on our dashboard that is public facing, and this shows testing information by census tract. So this includes testing rates and percent positive as broken down by geography to get a better understanding of the layout of our community. I want to talk today. I see and I hear and I receive comments that people are confused and fatigued with the messaging on COVID-19. I think anyone would be forgiven for not knowing how to stay safe, how extreme to be with physical distancing, and what practices to follow. I think depending on what channel you watch, what newspaper you read, or what neighborhood you live in, you may hear different opinions and receive different pieces of advice. A simple fact is that COVID-19 is still with us. Though we are seeing promising trends in hospitalizations and especially in certain parts of our community, percent positive case counts, the virus is certainly not gone and will likely increase at some point in the future, as we are seeing in most states throughout the country. So everyone will take different steps to stay safe, but I think there's 3 key items that you can consider when determining what activities to do and what perhaps not to do. So 3 items. 1 is people, 2 is space, and 3 is time. So people means how many people do you interact closely with? The people you live with are fine. You can interact with them as much as you want. Outside of that, try to interact closely with only a small trusted few at this time. So with each person you interact closely with, keep in mind that you're also indirectly contacting everyone else that they interact with as well. So keep your circle as small as possible, ideally not much larger than those with whom you live. Next is space. So space means how you interact with people, aside from those in your closest circle. So you can get together with family, you can get together with friends, but try to do so from a distance. And being outdoors in open air also adds a substantial added element of protection. So you can interact with your friends and your family, but do so in an open air environment outdoors and try to keep 6 feet of distance from each other. You can set up tables and chairs further apart. And also, while not a substitution for space, wearing a mask in public can further decrease transmission of disease. So third is time. Time means how long you interact with someone. So while passing someone for a split second while walking on a path in the park is very low risk, sitting next to someone for a half hour in a restaurant is quite high risk. So keeping these 3 key elements, again, people, space, and time, in mind at all times is critical regardless of symptoms. We know also for a fact, a well-studied fact, that COVID-19 is contagious and can be spread when you have the virus in your system but don't yet have symptoms. So that means we have to limit the number of people, maintain space, and minimize time always, regardless of symptoms. So as you return to a more normal way of life, remember people, space, and time. Be with those who you enjoy spending time with, but be creative in ways to maximize safety by decreasing the number of people, increasing the space, and minimizing the time. Lastly, I want to return for just a moment on the numbers I mentioned at the beginning. 322 individuals who have died. As I read them off each briefing, I think it's easy to start seeing them as an aggregate statistic, a percentage of the whole. However, as I stated in the beginning, there are 322 individuals who have died. These are parents, their husbands, wives, best friends, co-workers, sons, and daughters. And if you haven't yet been touched by loss during the pandemic, I think you're probably one of the lucky ones. This last week, I personally saw 2 close friends affected, one by the loss of a father and another by the loss of a brother. The pandemic is real and the effects are widespread. Despite differences of opinion or outlook